determine how many laps it's going to take to go. Approximately 1 hour. And then as soon as they've got that figured out, we'll start showing the riders laps to go.
All right, folks, we're back at it. 2013 UCI Full Moon Vista Cyclocross, Ellison Park, Rochester, New York. Jonah DiPasquale back on the mic. Thank you so much for joining us. A great elite women's race. Congratulations again goes out to Laura Van Gilder, Van Dessel, Mellow Mushroom, Pizza Baker for the win. And second place, Mo Marine, Bruno Roy of Bob's Red Mill, 7 cycles, and of course, out of Canada, racing for Rare Boss Racing, Steven Cycles, Elliot Natasha. We are moving into the men's elite. And as I said, we're about a few minutes away from the start, and I just wanted to thank again the folks from Chain L for providing the cool little swag handouts. Bicycle chain oil, high mileage formula, significantly improved chain life. Smoother, quieter drivetrain, 1,000 miles between applications, made in USA. Check them out at chain-l.com. So a little bit of recap of last year's 2012 event. On Saturday, our third place winner, Justin the Honey Badger Lindeen of Redline. Second place, Jonathan Page. And first, Nicholas Bazin of Big Matt Auber, 93. That was on Saturday. On Sunday in the men's elite, third place of Cliff Bar, Troy Wells. Second place, Jeremy Dern and Jam Fun, Northampton Cycling. And again, in the first place position, Nicholas Bazin. So it should be interesting what happens in terms of today's development. I mean, clearly you saw yesterday the fave of Rocky Mountain Factory, Raphael Gagne, the win. And again, Zach McDonald of Rafa Focus coming out. So it's very exciting. Got a good field. Very, very competent racers. Clearly, anytime you affiliate the word UCI, you know the big guns, the young guns are coming out. Beautiful Rochester, New York, in this East Coast landscape. I had much of the competitors earlier today come out, and they're giving us some good feedback, rave reviews. It was awesome to chat with Laura Van Gilder. She said she's loved the course, wants to come back, and also had some great feedback from Natasha Elliott. She had said these are, some of the nicest days to race, and clearly with no rain, I think everybody had a great day of racing as well. I want to thank the folks from Full Moon Vista Bike and Sport, Rarbach Brewing, Monroe County Sports Commission, GVCC, Monroe County Parks, Good Smoke Barbecue, Joe Bean Coffee Roasters, Ebus Locks, Trek Bicycles, and Velo Neutral Race Support.
The situation yesterday where there wasn't 4 or 5 guys around him, so he'll be looking to do the same thing again today.
It was great to chat with my man Peter Pellicciati from Pete's Wheels. He was kind of helping us out. It was great also to talk to Jeremy Durnan and Adam as well. It's just a great time in general. I'll tell you what, it's always a pleasure to get these athletes, on the microphone because they're super personable. Obviously, clearly they're folks just like you and I, and Adam Meyerson is great, representative of the sport. Team Smart Stop Mountain Khakis. As I said, not only a competitor but a coach, as well as running a race and events promoter. As I said, it's awesome. I also want to give a big shout out to Dan Stride and Hook S1 Productions. This is the first event of its kind, by the way. Dan, if you get a chance, grab the mic and give people a little bit of heads up on what's happening with this live stream we're doing.
Jonah, it's awesome. I love this. I mean, I love doing this, and Gnarly Monkey has just really taken off. And cyclocross, I know you love it. You're a mountain biker. I'm a road rider, but cyclocross is kind of halfway in between. And
I'm thinking.
I love this aspect of it. You know what I mean? These guys out here are just hammering. Those girls, I mean, unbelievable. Like, running around, jumping over the barriers, like, makes me want to just grab my bike and get out there and do it with you.
I'm telling you. And, again, boy, how about that last women's elite race? How was Laura Van Gilder and Mo? Did you see that?
49 years old. Can you
yeah,
believe
buddy.
That?
Yeah, she's hammering.
And she had gaps. She was getting a gap, and then they'd come back together, and then they'd go back out. Just amazing.
Okay, hey, Dan, taking a look at things. The men's elite underway. 2013 UCI Full Moon Vista Cyclocross. Beautiful Ellison Park in Rochester, New York. Jonah DiPasquale with you on the mic. And this is where it all gets down. The men's elite. This is going to be a 60-minute effort. 60-minute effort. And who is it going to be? Is it going to be the Rocky Mounts factory racer, Raphael Gagne? Is he going to be coming out again a winner? Or is it going to be Zach McDonald taking second? Here we go in the lead. Here's our lead group. There you go. So far, looks like, again, Travis Liverman out front. There you go. And what did I say? There you go, Jeremy Durnan in chase. Mind you, the first lap coming around the first corner, heading into the Alpe d'Huez climb. There you go. I see Peter Pellicciati from Pete's Wheels. Pete, back again. Welcome.
Thank you, Jonah. This is starting out to be an exciting race.
Coming to the barriers for the first time. This is going to be an important part of the course, folks, and a very interesting course. McDonald.
Look at the way McDonald bunny hops those barriers.
Piece of cake.
You want to go out and practice that later, Jonah?
Yeah, I'm on that. Jeremy Duran, excuse me, Peter. I just wait a minute. We got a technical. That was Gagne. Oh, that hurts. Do you see that, Gagne over the barricades? Must have dropped the chain, Peter.
Wow, it put him back a ways.
Yeah, that's going to hurt. And there you go. Look at McDonald. McDonald tapping it out. Number 7, Liverman of Team Smart Stop Mountain Khakis in chase. They're heading up the hill, up the first. Again, couple chicanes under their belt.
Are you sure that's a hill, Jonah? Because they're going up it pretty fast.
I'm telling you, that pace is, it's fast. It's definitely fast. And remember, this race is absolutely not going to be won on this first lap, but it is interesting to see who's getting out there dominating. Again, clearly with that little technical that Gagne had, boy, Peter, that's going to be a tough one to come back from.
Well, not too bad, like you said, in the first lap. He's got time, but any place is bad, but if you're going to have a bobble, have it on the first lap.
Right. Look at that. Look at the cornering. You know, again, McDonald focused. Just driving that corner.
Smooth.
Yeah, he's not messing around. That's some tempo. He continues to put some time into Liverman.
He's going
Look
it
at
alone.
this.
He's going it alone today.
What happened with there goes Liverman. Okay, Liverman, and there's Duran in chase. Oh, look at that. Look nice. He's locking it up around the corner. He's not messing around.
These guys are fantastic.
Coming through the pit area into the lower section of the Pines, that sweeping, weaving turn section, Peter, that you talked about. Now remember, we saw Ian Keogh earlier in the men's open ride up chutes and ladders. Peter, what do you think McDonald's going to do? You think he's just going to power up it coming around the corner? You think he's going to ride up it?
I think we're going to see a lot of pro guys ride up that hill. It's a bit loamy, but but it's dry enough. It might depend on the gearing they got.
Sure.
But just based on Keogh doing it, we're going to see.
That was pretty sweet.
We're going to see a few pros doing it. It saves time.
Yeah, I know, Peter, something you were talking about earlier with the barricades. Clearly at this point, or the level, I should say, is the bunny hop. I mean, you're clearly at an advantage in this level of field to be bunny hopping regardless. Or you think the dismount's faster?
Well, you don't see too many guys losing ground dismounting, but you're not gonna. If you're good at bunny hopping, you don't have to worry about getting in your pedals.
Sure.
And even the best are occasionally gonna get back in their pedals a little slower. So if you can do it and you're good at it, I say bunny hop every time.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, here we go. McDonald.
Nope.
It's going to be a run-up on chutes and ladders, shouldering, and he's staking along the outside line, close to the camera. Look at that. That's Duran. Duran and Chase. There you go. Liverman. And that looks like Mike Garrigan, and Van Dessel.
We're a little bunched up right here, so we might see some of the pros attempting to climb it later.
There's the bunny hop.
these guys aren't just like lifting up one wheel, then the back wheel going over this log. They're just like lifting the whole bike and flying over the log.
And it's funny, I think, the point that you're making, clearly you can certainly see the stronger riders that are literally clearing the whole thing with one hop, not kind of an up and over. Like literally both wheels, I guess, again, clearing
that
the
saves
feature.
a tremendous amount
absolutely.
of time.
You got to imagine that, the traditional quote-unquote bunny hop, where the front wheel comes down and that back wheel, you see some of the racers kind of hit. There's a dismount right there.
Yeah, if you're going to just do one wheel at a time like I did, you got to slow down to the log like I did. And and I lost a lot of time, and these guys act as if it's not even there.
Men's Elite 2013 Full Moon Vista Cyclocross, Ellison Park in Rochester, New York. Peter Pelliciotti of Pete's Wheels with you. And of course, Jonah DiPasquale, thank you so much. We're color commentating. Both days of racing have been, very much action-packed.
Absolutely, Jonah. And we're going to see another exciting day of racing today with the men's race, the course in reverse, like we talked about earlier with the women's race. We didn't really see a change-up of the placements in the women's race.
No, not at all. Not at all. I don't think that played into a factor, no.
No. But so we'll see if it does today, if it makes a difference.
And here we go today, back at McDonald's with Dern in chase. Racing for Optimum Kelly Benefit Strategies. He came off strong. He had a 7th at Providence, Peter.
7th is huge
at
buddy. Providence.
You betcha. And we're not talking, the field.
Field of almost 100,
Yeah, that's
I
a
think.
huge field. And there you go, coming through the first lap.
So I see Zach McDonald looking back. Is he thinking, I don't want to go it alone right yet? I'm going to wait till a little later?
Well, it's funny, Peter, again, a lot of times when most of your, I don't want to say necessarily vet cyclocross races, but many people that I talk to, and I know you kind of said the same thing, it's usually just an all-out effort that first lap to really get as far as you can. And then obviously maybe after that first lap and maybe after that second, well, you're clearly seeing after this first lap, notice all of a sudden, see that group kind of starting to settle in, McDonald, Durnan out front, and now they really kind of have sort of their own race going. Look at that, McDonald with a bunny hop, Durnan with a dismount. How about that? That was very impressive indeed, and he didn't even lose a pedal stroke.
And that did save him time.
Oh, absolutely.
And you know what else about being out front is you can pick your own line. When you're stuck back a few riders, you can't see your line. If somebody bobbles in front of you, somebody wipes out in front of you, hit the ground, you got to go off your line. So it's really nice having a clear field of vision and being able to ride your own race right away.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of a race, I'm not seeing any sign of the third place racer. We have McDonald of Rafa Focus out front, Optimum Kelly Benefit Strategies rider Jeremy Durnan. He's currently ranked 78th in UCI, by the way. And remember, UCI, that's some serious points. 78's good. out of what?
You're absolutely right about that, Jonah. And we know that a lot of the Americans, the top guys, if they want to really improve, they really want to work on their skills, they go to Europe and they race the pros over there and Belgium where it's known.
Yep. Yeah, Belgium in cyclocross.
We know the fastest riders are from Belgium. They dominated they dominated the worlds last year, every year. We're going to see more and more Americans heading out to Europe.
And there you go, McDonald pouring on the gas. He's really starting to pick it up again. Look at that, standing up and churning, coming into the back section, and Duran still in chase. But as I said, man, look at the confidence. Look at McDonald. He's coming into these corners hot. Medic is locking up to back wheel, Peter, doing this literal rear wheel skid.
I don't know if he can help it. His brakes are so dialed. Look at those disc brakes. Those are so powerful.
He's absolutely pouring it on. And Duran still in chase. You see the rest of the group there coming down through the pit area, that neutral pit area provided by Velo Neutral Race Support. Thank you again.
I got to say, McDonald is looking so strong.
He's on fire
looking
today.
back. He's like, are you guys coming? What's going on here?
Yeah, it was. He was talking to Scott Page, the event promoter, and he was saying he was really hoping for rain. Yeah, he was hoping. You get a little bit last night.
Well, we did get a lot of rain last night, but we got a lot of sun this morning, and it just sucked it right out of the ground.
Yeah. And it's a great point there, folks out there watching this. Course isn't very muddy. There's a couple little spots or divots I guess, but no substantial mud.
Yeah, I would not call this mud.
Yeah,
It's definitely some little wet soil, but no mud.
Yeah, and typically on the East Coast, this is generally what you're going to see this time of the year, and clearly with a little bit of rain, precipitation, obviously add the snow and the snain or sleet or whatever. Boy, that can dramatically change things. I see a couple changes in the pit going on now. Some riders coming in and out, a few bike changes, and it's interesting. I want to say I don't see anything that could potentially be wrong with the bike, but I do see racers swapping bikes. Now, Peter, maybe play into that is the fact that I know a lot of the top level guys have multiple bikes, but again, are they switching out because there's a specific start bike?
There's Zach McDonald back to the climb, and he is not riding it. He's walking his bike up. But to go back what you were saying, Jonah, it is surprising to see that many guys getting a pit bike with.
Wait a minute, Peter Gagne back on the chase. He's right back on Duran's tail.
He's worked himself right
and
back up to the front.
he reeled him right back up to the front. Remember that? He had that tactical over the barrier.
Mm-hmm.
There's the rest of the group. Look at that. We got a rider. Oh, that was almost like a racer number 8, I believe it was. 21, they're charging it. Man, Peter, that was impressive. Raphael Gagne there of Rocky Mountain Factory. Oh, Raphael having an impressive Providence effort, taking 3rd in Providence, Peter, this year. He
was the best place of the group we have today, the pros today. He was the best placed rider, I think, in the last UCI race in Providence.
Absolutely. And you see a little bit of bottleneck there coming.
The fact that he had that, a little stumble earlier on the first lap.
Sure.
He did it early enough where he's got time to catch up, and it's not taking him long at all.
Yeah, no, and that's
right back up there.
And again, Peter, you'd mentioned that typically the first lap isn't necessarily what dictates the race by any means. But again, that's a good point to bring out, is that Gagne dropped his chain coming over the barricades, and he easily lost 7 to 8 positions right out. Just moving out of the way. To reel it back in again, mind you, we saw the tempo that McDonald and Duran were tapping out. He actually jumped right back on Duran's tail, coming up chutes and ladders. That's amazing.
Yeah. To come from a mistake like that and just put in twice as much power to move yourself back up, it's just amazing. These guys can dig. That's one thing that at this level, you can put yourself into the pain cave.
Oh, wait a minute. And look at Gagne pulling out in front of Duran. But look at the gap, Peter. Look at the gap McDonald has put in front of Duran. But again, not clearly Duran. It's Raphael in chase. McDonald in the lead.
As impressed as I am with this gap, I'm kind of excited these guys
Sure.
are catching up to him. We're going to see a little challenge. We're going to see a race.
Absolutely.
They're going to catch him. There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely. And look at Gagne looking his older shoulder. Look at the focus on Duran. Duran right on Gagne's wheels. Now, Peter, this is an opportunity for these two athletes to work together, because they know that it probably might not be a bad idea to play it smart to catch up McDonald. Look at McDonald coming around the corner. He's looking over his shoulder and even continuing to accelerate, because he doesn't want those two racers to catch him. Coming up to the part of the Ellison Alpe d'Huez, coming down around the chicane. Remember, we watched McDonald clearly bunny hop these obstacles.
And he does it so smooth.
Absolutely. It is. There he is. Boom, boom.
He's gaining a second, a half a second on everybody behind him that doesn't do it.
Yeah, that is the level of skill set that you expect to see at UCI, and clearly not letting a simple barricade like that even slow him down. It's like, oh well, here we go.
No, it's like a route.
Yeah, a big route.
It's just we're seeing some more bike changes here.
Yeah, I'm seeing a couple bike changes, and we got some athletes changing things up, and I do see our promoter, Scott Page. He's stopping by, and hey, Scott, we had a fantastic women's elite. It was great to see Laura Van Gilder taking the win. A lot of fun, and now we got the men's elite underway. How are we doing today, Scott?
Doing amazing. Just it's so pumped about this event right now.
Yep.
But it was just wild to watch Gagne make that run
Love
up.
it.
He just rode the whole thing.
And Peter, it's funny, you nailed it. Peter and I were just talking about that. He lost his chain on the barricade, probably lost at least 7 to 8 positions, and then lo and behold, the cadence that with McDonald and Duran were tapping out was blistering, to say the least. And I looked at the camera on the run-up of Chutes and Ladders, and guess who was there? Yeah. Gagne, right there.
I think he's my hero. Is he your hero?
I would have to say that after this event, we're going to have his shoes bronzed.
I think so. I'm going to wear a cape immediately. That's what I got to do.
But also, too, hey, listen, folks, a big shout-out to Scott Page and his crew. They've been tirelessly working to make this course what it is. I did want to share with you, by the way, some great feedback that I did receive from the oh, goodness, excuse me, I'm going through my notes here. From Natasha Elliott. And this is one of the things, folks, I want to kind of compare racing here in the United States versus Canada, Ottawa, Toronto. These taped courses. This is something that those racers really love. And they said, man, we love this UCI event. We want to see more of this, man. You got to let the rest of the crew up in Ottawa know. And we're coming back for 014. That's great news.
Yeah, I was very excited. I talked to all the top 3 women, and they were pumped about the course. They love the way we're doing it, and they love the production. Yep. So it's been a pleasure. And Laura Van Gilder was all over it too. So it's really nice to see that they appreciate it and they want to come back. So we're psyched about that.
Yeah, that's good. And you know, I'm sure obviously, Scott, as you know, being no stranger to events, you know, the Twilight Crit, certainly, you know, since 2008. Staking your claim at a Monroe County Parks, which at that time was unheard of, 4 years in a row as a UCI event. And I got to say to you, this event absolutely is making huge leaps and bounds and strides. Speaking of which, we're live streaming. I know that you had mentioned a couple of the UCI commissaries were like, man, this is great. We love it. We want to see more of it. So I'll tell you what, I'm so grateful to be part of it. And I'll tell you what, those of you folks that are out there listening, be sure to post your comments and feedback because we want to make this event bigger and better than ever.
Absolutely. Bigger and better is where we want to go.
Yeah, buddy. All right, again, Scott, thanks so much for stopping by. Folks, don't forget, the live stream is going to be up and running continually, again, in a cache. It's EllisonParkCyclocross.com. If you forget that, of course, it's fullmoonvista.com. And there you go. We're back at it. McDonald Gagne going for the ride. And this goes, look at that. He gets into a top. Look at their hook and bars. Holy cats.
That was wild.
Yeah, and you notice, again, Scott, did you see it was that mountain biker in Gagne? Again, I talked to Gagne yesterday. He's an avid mountain biker and is really a name to be reckoned with. But look at this. He's trying his skill sets, and I tell you what, he's doing pretty good.
If he gets an open run at this the next time, he's going to make it, and he's going to gap him.
I think he's riding up. And speaking of the men's opening earlier, Ian Keogh, he was the only person that rode up at 3 times. Did you see that?
That's amazing.
That's fantastic. None of the other riders were doing that. And again, you just see that the rest of the group starting to kind of seek in. That's the bulk of the group. That's where the chafe is. You know, you're kind of moving back and forth. This is a tough place to be. And obviously, Scott, you're certainly no stranger to competitive cycling. That's a tough. You know, again, any simple bobble, any mistake, and you're done.
Oh, you make one mistake and 5 guys go by. You blink of an eye and you're back 5 spots. So
Yep.
It's really tough out there. That's what's amazing about Gagne. I mean, him having that bobble earlier, and then he recovers, and all of a sudden he's in second place. It's unheard of.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Coming along the back half of Schuler's Revenge, clearly once that camera panned in, you know, and I saw that Rocky Mountain jersey in chase of McDonald, I was like, wow. And Durden still was strong. I don't know if you were watching, again, coming along this back half, Scott. McDonald was coming in so hot, literally past the pits. He was locking his wheels up, going into the turn, skidding. Talk about coming in hot. I think he was doing it.
Yes. Yeah, and it's amazing. Jeremy Duran last year, he finished second here on one of our days.
Yep.
Actually beat Jonathan Page one day.
Absolutely.
You know, phenomenal rider. So he's in third right now. It's wild to watch these guys. But I want to say thank you to your crew.
Absolutely.
Jonah, Dan, everybody.
Thank you,
it's
Scott.
amazing. Doing a wonderful job.
Yeah, appreciate it. Well, thanks again, Scott Page, the event director from Full Moon Vista. A lot of fun. Great to see him. We're back to the men's elite racing action. We have, I believe, I want to say, a 60-minute effort underway. So far, so good. Rafa Focus Racer, Zach McDonald in lead. The mountain biking powerhouse taking third in Providence this year. That's Raphael Gagne. And there you have it, McDonald, Gagne, just kind of, I don't know, I wouldn't necessarily say another day on the bike, but clearly this looks like it's going to be, so far, your first and second place riders. Again, out there leading the rest of the group. No side is a huge gap in between third. Coming in along the line, here you have it. This is the rest of the group, and I think this is potentially, well, I clearly can't say third place. Look at Duran back there. I'm going to get a little visual. Coming along the lower half stretch, they're heading into the bunny hop section. Oh, look at that. Raphael answering. Both riders now, Peter. Both riders bunny hopping.
This race is shaping up to be similar to yesterday.
Boy, Peter, we just had Scott Page and Full Vista. We were just talking about Raphael Gagne catching up to Duran, and now poor Duran. Duran just, well, no, Raphael Gagne caught up to McDonald, but Duran was in the game, and now you see he's fallen off the back. And look at these two racers continually accelerating as they're heading up the Ellison Ave West, Peter.
They're just putting more and more time on the rest of the field, which just goes to show these guys are just dominant. I mean, and you can look at their placings from the Providence and the Gloucester race, and just follow that right up to here. They haven't lost any of the power they had
from those
previous races, and maybe even built upon it.
I think you're right. Yeah, absolutely. I think just I mean, I don't want to say grinding. I mean, that is a pretty fast tempo.
How old are these guys, Jonah?
Well, we're talking about Zach McDonald. He was the U23 winner last year. Again, I could get an age on Raphael Gagne here in just a minute, but I know that certainly McDonald, the younger rider for sure.
They've got so much potential.
Yeah. And there you have it coming down. Look at that. He's power and pouring on the speed. And as I said, that's packed grass.
Is that a good-looking bike he's riding or what?
That is hot. That's I got to say, Rafa Focus has really – check this out. This is what I was talking about. You going to see it? There it is. Yeah, a little bit of fishtail.
Yeah,
he's coming into it.
Brings it right around.
And that corner is getting pretty greasy. You notice how that line is starting to get pushed out further and further. Now, why that's happening, I mean, obviously that inside line, it's a pretty slick line. And the more that fringe or the apron of the turn, basically, that's where the riders are trying to get better traction to kind of keep their momentum going. And even if you see kind of coming through here, there's just certain parts of the course where it kind of is what it is. But it's really the corners that are dictating, where these riders.
Yeah, the one corner that McDonald skids around, you definitely can't go as fast as you want to, and it hasn't gotten any drier throughout the day. And in fact, it might be getting slicker as the temperature's dropping now. The dew might be coming out soon and really making the grass a little slick.
Yeah, absolutely. And hey, just coming through the barricade, or the neutral support area there, that orange helmet, that's Duran. Duran definitely fell off the back. I'm not quite sure what happened there. He was certainly in the game for the running, and I don't necessarily know if he got. I mean, he certainly didn't get lapped. I mean, that's not even the case. But he definitely got swallowed by the rest of the group, and he just seems. I don't necessarily say if he's kind of backed off the throttle, but he's sort of right back in the mix of things. There he goes right now, coming into the chicanes, coming around.
It'd be nice
that corner.
to interview him later after the race and find out, what might have happened there.
Yeah.
And anybody that had a bike change, it'd be good to find out what's causing these bike changes, because the conditions are so good today. You wouldn't think there'd be many mechanicals.
I think you're right, Peter, and the folks, again, certainly can't see it right now, but there's definitely been a lot of bike swap going on. And Peter, I do agree with you. And again, I'm not seeing any mangled wheels. I'm not seeing any drop chains. It certainly is interesting to see.
Back to the climb.
And look at this, McDonald lapping the field. Gagne, beg your pardon, back to the chase. That's Gagne and McDonald. Gagne is in the lead on chutes and ladders. And Gagne coming out there. McDonald not necessarily giving up, but there goes Gagne. Gagne's coming through the woods there, heading through the log section.
Flying over the log.
Yep.
We need a bigger log.
Yeah, right. Racer 5 there. That was Mike Garrigan of Van Dessel, Canadian national champ in 2012, right there, just zipping by us.
How many seconds is that? It's not impossible for the chase group to catch up to these two riders.
No.
And if we see a few of them get together and really put in a good attack,
Right.
they could catch up.
Yeah,
you know?
especially that back section. I was talking to Laura Van Gilder, Peter, that Schiller's Revenge, that
Mm-hmm.
little bit of pavement. Folks, you can't really see that there, but that little bit of pavement does come into play, because usually most riders come out of this section, Peter, they hit that road, they kind of relax. Well, like Laura was saying, she's like, being a much stronger road, that's where she was really able to pick up some time. And I'm not quite sure, Mo couldn't answer that, but she just, again, that was one of the obvious advantages of being a veteran in the cyclocross world.
Absolutely. You hit that road, you can just lay the power down. You know you're not going to skid, you're not going to slide, you just gun it.
Yep.
Of course, you got to have the lungs for it and the legs for
Man. That was a Snoop.
Matt Timmerman riding
He's rode it.
right up there.
Did he?
Amazing bike
yeah,
handler.
buddy. Look at this.
Or
Oh,
Dan,
yeah, dig it
Dan
deep.
Timmerman, not Matt
That was
Timmerman.
a good
It
effort there. That was
Danny
Nicholas Keogh. Yeah, buddy. He was trying to go for the ride. And Keogh, he's had 5 career wins so far. He's had 7. Peter,
There's
he's had 7
Corey
top 5.
Burns. Has he?
He's had 7 top 5 finishes. Or excuse
Very
me.
consistent.
Yeah, he's. And there's Gagne. Gagne in the lead. Gagne with McDonald in chase. So far, so good. These are the leaders of the Men's Elite 2013 Nelson Park UCI Cyclocross. Thank you for joining us. And there you go. McDonald bringing out the cat and mouse game, as we refer to. And clearly you don't see Gagne being too worried about it, Peter, as we go into the Ellison Alpe d'Huez.
Look at that close-up.
Well,
So we got Zach McDonald up front, disc brakes. Gagne still riding the rim brakes. I wonder if if his discs are helping him descend faster than Gagne. You notice that Zach McDonald just really does a great job descending. I wouldn't say Gagne falls back at all, but it just doesn't look quite as smooth.
Well, Peter, I think to your point, I think one of the advantages, clearly, as those of you folks out there watching now, I mean, again, Gagne is a very strong mountain biker. So I definitely want to point out, and I know that just myself, being, an avid mountain biker, jumping onto a cyclocross bike, I certainly am a little less, tentative on the descents. But I think your point about the disc could be a pretty valid one.
And we're gonna, as they come down Alpe d'Huez, we'll take a look again.
Yeah, let's watch that. I want to also point out too, these particular races are using some pretty deep dish carbon wheels. I know that obviously has got quite a bit on the stability. Clearly the narrower rim tray. Peter, you could kind of help me with this. Obviously that particular wheel in the descending, how's that playing into things?
Well, they're really stiff. It's going to stabilize the front end. A nice stiff wheel like that, corner's great. Of course, I think they also like them for mud clearance. They're not going to pack mud up around it like a square rim might. Carbon's been the rim of choice for pros, as we've seen in every aspect of racing. And here we go down the hill. Zach is looking smooth, but Gagne's answering. Oh.
Well,
he is pulling a gap. He is smooth.
It's funny, again, I mentioned to you folks out there earlier, you notice coming through those corners, Peter, you see McDonald really isn't going in that main line. It's burned out. You notice how he's ramping, he's coming in high, cutting across, using the outsides of those corners to gain, again, precious time on Gagne. Now, I would say, Peter, that's probably about a 3 bike length gap there coming into the lower half of the pit section. But again, Gagne's still holding strong. He's right on McDonald's wheel and in chase. And boy, look at that focus. McDonald just powering through the lower section of this course.
Yeah, and although Gagne's been able to catch up and answer every little bit that McDonald gets ahead, he has to accelerate to catch McDonald. Every time he loses time in that corner, he's got to accelerate to catch McDonald.
Sure.
And that can, over the course of an hour, really eat into your power reserves.
I bet. Coming down through that pine forest section. And McDonald there is still, again, a consistent 3 bike lengths in front of Gagne. Here is the rest of the group in chase. As I said, that third and fourth position, still fairly open. I know you'd mentioned before, kind of the bulk of the group. I can't really say you call it the peloton, but certainly the rest of the chase group. To
and
your
you
point.
could just see in the background the heads of the leaders. So they're not too far behind, but it could be a fight for third, fourth place.
Yeah. Oh, there's another bike change there. That was Christian Favada.
Bike change.
Christian Favada came through. TRT Bicycle Stands O-Tubes. Hey, Christian Favada, he just won the Wildcat 100. You hear that? Yeah, buddy. Yeah. He's no joke. Actually, he raced at Wyndham U.S. Nationals, did single speed. Crushed it.
Wow.
He's an animal. And by the way, full-time, he's a full-time business owner. Good guy. Well, like most of these guys, like I have a job, but I also race UCI. I don't know about you. I don't think I could do that.
Where do they find time to train?
Seriously, I'm telling you.
Amazing.
There's the run-up. McDonald, look at that.
Oh.
Gagne still did you see that? McDonald in a run-up. Gagne behind him, still pedaling, spun out. But look at him. Didn't lose much time. Back on the gas. McDonald out in front of him coming into the back section, the ridge. Here you go. McDonald up and over the alley-oop. That nice little bunny hop. And again, they're chasing, heading along the back half of the ridge into the road section of Schuler's Revenge. Here's the chase group, Peter, coming up chutes and ladders.
They are not far behind, Joe.
No, not at all.
See some Aero helmets there.
Yep.
Or
that,
one.
That Giro design, was new out on the Tour de France this year. It's a different mentality, sort of less events the better, right? I think that's what they were thinking there.
Probably not going to hurt on a chilly day today, like today.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
As the temperature's dropping more and more as we sit here.
And I just saw racer 13, Peter. That's Michael Van Denham of Cycle Smart. Peter, he has U23 racer. He got first place at the Cyclocross Nationals.
13 is Anthony Clark.
Sorry, excuse me. I was the
no problem. Yep.
Michael Van Dam. Beg your pardon. There's Christian Favada coming through there. Gotcha. Excuse me. Michael Van Damham was racer 14. There's the run-up. Look at that, the Sachs racer. Number 15th, that's Daniel Chabanov. House Industries, Richard Sachs, RGM racer. And Peter, did you see those bikes? They got kind of a pretty, I don't want to say aggressive, like rake on their front forks. That's an interesting design for a cyclocross bike.
The
Richard
Sachs. Well, it's a hand-built frame, and
beautiful, right?
If I'm not mistaken, was the fork also the Sachs fork, or were they using a carbon fork on that?
No, that was it was a fork there. Look at Gagne and McDonald sparring back and forth. Gagne back out in the lead, coming along the lower section down through the start-finish line, and McDonald starting to still keeping him in chase. Gagne picking up the tempo. McDonald answering. Here we go, the men's elite race still.
Now, these guys are really moving. This is a long, steady climb here, and they're not making it look like a climb.
No, absolutely. And again, look at that acceleration by Gagne. Look at that focus, just grinding away. McDonald standing up and just right there, right in the pocket in chase. Coming around that first corner, going up into the Ellison Alpe d'Huez. Look at this, Gagne starting to pick it up a little bit. He's feeling pretty good. Here's the rest of your chase group, Peter, coming along the back. Remember, third and fourth, there really wasn't much distance there. I know they're maybe trying to pick it up there. That racer 13, I mentioned
and they're
before,
working together.
Anthony
I mean, they're almost doing a pace line. We're seeing the lead guy pull off and the next guy take over. So
absolutely. Anthony Clark yesterday, killing it. He did really well. I think he could be the one to maybe pull that group back up into place. But there you go, heading right back up into the Ellison Alpe d'Huez, as we say. Ellison d'Huez. We're going to change the name.
El d'Huez.
El d'Huez on the fly. And look at that, Gagne powering it. McDonald in the answer.
I'm just having a hard time believing that this is a hill right now.
Yeah, it's certainly hard. It's certainly hard to tell that. I was down here at the kind of the live stream kind of command center, Peter, and I walked up there and I was like, this is, pretty decent shape. I was like, whoa, it took a little effort, but clearly just to see that, for a 60-minute effort is very, very impressive.
Right to the apex. What do we got, a gap here? What's going on?
Yeah, This gap into third.
Gagne has pulled a gap.
Yep.
Let's see if he can hold it on the descent. As we've seen, McDonald is a really good descender. Should be able to catch right up, but Gagne is holding this gap right now.
And he's about a turn and a half.
Yeah, that's a significant.
Ahead, Peter.
You know, that's a significant gap, and with the power that Gagne puts out, you know, this might be tough for McDonald to catch back up to.
Yeah.
He's got to, you know, use his cornering skills to put himself right back in position behind Gagne.
Yeah, and it's, you know, Peter, it's funny you mentioned that. Notice Gagne really starting to pour it on. I'm looking, and I'm not seeing McDonald. I'm not quite sure what happened because he went.
Is he getting a bike change? I don't see him.
He went for maybe a turn and a half. I don't see him coming through. There's no sign of McDonald. I don't know what happened, if he went down. Whoa, wait a minute. He's coming across the back. I think he may have gone down, Peter. I see he's coming across the flat. You can't see this. Oh, he fell way off the back. That is going to hurt. I'm seeing he just got swallowed up by the group.
Something's wrong.
I think it was a technical. I don't know if you can kind of see this now, folks. He should be coming in. That is a big bummer there for McDonald.
He's going to be coming by the pit, so we'll see if what he needs to change.
Yeah, I don't know. See, the wheels seem to be intact. Chain seems to be on, though. Is he going in for a pit change? It doesn't know. He's getting back in the game, but, man, he's got to get focused. That is a tough one. You can see the look of frustration on his face right now. Zach McDonald not happy. Oh, we just had a spill coming around that one corner down in the lower part of the pits.
McDonald appears to have blown up.
Yeah, I don't know, Peter.
20 going down.
Yeah, Racer 20, Peter. That was Andrew Watson of Norco Factory Team. He got a little squirrely around that one corner just past the lower part of the pits. And as we said before, that a lot of those things, Peter, that definitely takes the wind out of your sails, especially when you're trying to keep up the pace. You did mention a little bit earlier, again, obviously the temperature's starting to drop, but clearly it's not freezing. But again, when you are out there racing a 60-minute effort like this at Ellison Park, it's going to start to wear on you for sure.
Absolutely, Jonah. We're seeing some
Look
riders
at
really.
Gagne going for the ride up, man. Oh, showing the mountain biker determination, and he did it. How about that, Peter? Did you see that? Raphael Gagne riding up chutes and ladders. Wow.
Now, the last time he went up, he had McDonald in front of him, and McDonald actually caused him to bobble at the very top. But now that he's got a clear entrance and exit to that climb, he just goes up it with no problem.
Yeah, he's pretty stoked, Peter. I got to tell you. As I said, cleaning the climb. The chutes and ladders climb yesterday was a descent. Today, riding up. And McDonald, not so happy. Falling off the back, but can he pull it back together again? The rest of your chase group there.
McDonald's, he's getting his rest. He's going up that hill a little slow, but he's right behind these guys, so.
And the crowd's pumped. Look at the crowd. They're trying to pump him back up again. Get him back in the game, Peter.
The look on his face is
and he's
not
back,
of a
and he's
confident.
backed off the tempo. He's definitely backed off the tempo now. Gagne continually out front, continuing to lead that gap. And let's see, I'm trying to figure out who is going to be back in the running for second and third. And he's
Robert Marion.
Yeah, buddy.
American Classic did very well last year. I think he got a second or a third last year.
Yeah, Marion's, again, no stranger to the cyclocross scene, and always great to see the guys from American Classic out here. They're in full force representation with their kits. Christian Favada, Table Rock Tours. Yeah, buddy. That guy's an animal on a single speed, by the way. He's just a jack of all trades, you know. Yeah. Came out.
The
and
diversity.
There's our lead. Gagne way out there, Peter. He's in a good spot at this point.
He's got to have a lot of confidence right now. He's got nobody behind him. No stress. He's got a clear view of the road ahead of him.
Yeah, Peter Gagne with 2 to go. 2 to go, men's elite.
We don't see this too often. A rider riding it alone from start to finish. And he didn't have it from the start, but once he caught McDonald, he was able to put it together, and now he's just out front all alone. And you don't see that too often. Usually it wears away one rider at a time.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good point. And look at him. He's throwing his glasses. Again, those of you that are just tuning in now, Raphael Gagne clearly leading it out. The men's Elite 2013.
He tossed his glasses, did he?
He tossed his glasses. But, again, folks, coming from a technical, a drop chain over the barricades to reel in to third, to then swallow the rest of the group, to put a huge gap, and now he is leading.
Well, he doesn't have to worry about any mud flinging in front of him.
No.
He doesn't need those glasses.
Definitely not. And that was, like I said, those of you folks that may have not saw that, and Raphael Gagne, look at this McDonald coming through the line now, and he's got his head hanging down, Peter. I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe, again, a fall that took the wind out of his sails, but hopefully he can just try to get back in the game. Remember, this obviously.
Let's see. I don't see any mud on him.
Nah, he's not quite sure.
He just kicked it in high gear on that climb maybe and just dug a little deeper than he wanted to.
Yep.
And he's just got to get it back together, get back into his groove, and he can catch right back up.
And
There's no reason he can't move into second place like he was yesterday.
Yeah, I don't know. He seems to be picking up the pace coming along the bottom. Gagne, again, way out there. But, again, there's certainly no guarantees. I can clearly tell you with Gagne's mountain bike skill sets. Look at that, Peter, standing up, digging deep. And, again, you'd mentioned before, that's a pretty tough climb to be climbing up. Just in general, that grass is wet. It's ground down. You can see just the burn marks. Notice Raphael going along the outside. Again, that's a very slick off-camber section coming through that corner there. Very, very slippery, almost like a sheet of ice. I wouldn't say exactly that case because the temperature's holding pretty strong.
That is a tough climb, but
Yep.
you want to give it everything you got to the top of that climb because once you're at the top, it's a relief. The rest of that downhill is just a pure rest. As hard as it is to corner, you're not killing your lungs, so you just give it everything you got to the top of that climb, and we're seeing Gagne do that.
Yeah, he's way out there, folks. Looks like so far, Raphael Gagne of Rocky Mountain.
Let's see if he does a fishtail coming into this corner.
He's, again, I think this is shaping up to be his race, and again, Peter, I would say kind of this is the sweet spot. You certainly you can back off the tempo a little bit, but the gap you have. There's certainly no guarantees. I know, Peter, you'd mentioned something interestingly enough that there is a potential for Gagne to get caught. I mean, again, obviously he's got a huge gap, but as I said, it is racing, and you never know. And it is interesting, Peter. You brought up a good point. You generally don't see this big of a gap. I know that at Wyndham last year, there were a couple mountain races where we did see some racers just clearly take a big gap. Jeremiah Bishop this year at the U.S. Wyndham Nationals did exactly that. He put a big gap on the lead in the mountain world, but we're back in cross, and again, it looks like so far so good here for Gagne.
He is doing well, Jonah, and yeah, you don't see it too often. Sometimes you get somebody has a really good day and they just pull a gap, but
yep.
You got to think that gap between that lead rider and the next place rider, there's a whole area there that somebody needs to fill. Somebody's got to go back to the drawing board and sit down and figure out how many intervals they got to do to to fill that gap.
Back to the drawing board, right? Yeah, seriously. Yeah, it's interesting, and you bring up a good point. Is I know that cyclocross racers generally have clearly a different calendar. I know many of you folks kind of under the impression that a lot of these guys are roadies. Some of them are. There's no question about it. But again, in specifics to racing UCI, it's a completely different calendar. In fact, a lot of the nationals, a lot of the finals, January, February, when clearly you and I are maybe out there skiing and snowboarding, Peter, these guys are still racing cross. In fact, this is when they got to be peaking.
Yeah, this isn't the end of 2013 season. It's a 2013-2014 season. It goes well into 2014 in the dead of winter, and up here in New York, the local races, they end well before that, but in the real cross world,
keeps on going.
It just goes, yeah.
Sven Nye style, riding and racing with 10 feet of snow on the ground.
Absolutely. The hardcore guys really
buddy.
come out.
Yeah.
They get into their element.
Anthony Clark, Jam Fund. He's one of those cyclocross personas. Good showman. Puts up a good fight out there every time he's out on the course. I know he ain't going down with a fight, that's for sure.
Got a frisbee golf hole over there. You noticed they were coming around. This course doubles as a frisbee golf course.
You play frisbee golf at all?
I have not played
Oh,
frisbee
dude, I
golf,
can't even
but
imagine.
as I was out here riding the course
Yep.
before it was set up officially, there was quite a few frisbee golf players out there telling me to watch out, and I told them that's why I got my helmet on here.
It's Andre Watson. That's racer number 20, or Norco factory team. Those Norco guys, big support there. Racer 17, that was Jake Wells. Jake Wells of Stands No Tubes. Had a chance to talk to Jake last year at the Bat Tour to Battenkill.
All the way from Colorado.
He's a good guy. He rips it up. He's definitely
Absolutely.
certainly no stranger to the East Coast, but you definitely see him race a lot out in the Midwest for sure. Does a lot of bit out at Steamboat, etc.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic racer. Another guy with a full-time job, as many of these riders do.
Yep, which is amazing. And 2 to go, Peter. 2 to go, men's elite. 2 to go. We're gonna be.
So we're gonna start. We gotta figure out who's gonna take the second, third, fourth, fifth
Yeah, I'm thinking
position
that's
here,
the
because
race.
I see Gagne just
Gagne's packed his
riding
lunch
away.
at this point.
Yeah,
There's Duran.
anybody that doesn't
Duran on the
think
run up.
that.
Gagne way out there at this point. An unbelievable gap
He's,
on second place. I think, Peter, at this point, clearly this is his own race. No sign. No
he's
sign
digging.
of second and third.
He's just digging in that.
He's in the zone. Yeah, he's in the zone. And again, Peter, it's a great pace to be. He clearly isn't necessarily letting off the
His
throttle.
mouth was wide open.
Yeah,
he's not letting off at all.
Well,
he's suffering.
he certainly isn't. But again,
No.
typically at this point, again,
Look at
you
that
can't
gas
assume
for
that
air.
the race is won.
Yeah.
Unless for barring some bizarre bobble. But clearly, obviously, with the skill and prowess that Gagne has, I think at this point we could say he could be taking this. I think, Peter, you brought up a good point. And here we go. This is the second and third battle, respectively, coming through the start-finish line or the finish
And all
line
these
area.
positions really mount.
Absolutely,
They really matter.
Yeah, they do.
Jonah. I mean, we might be putting first, second, and third in the podium, but every position down to, I don't know how much the payout pays up to 15, 20. And plus you get your points. So these guys are fighting for every position here today.
And Peter, you see that second and third group up there. McDonald still continue to hold a steady pace.
And I gotta wonder why he's not. He didn't just dig a little deeper, bridge that gap to the other riders, because it would give him a little relief having that group of riders ahead of him.
Yeah, he's coming down. And Peter, another one thing I want to point out there is that chase group there. That's rider number 3. That is Evan McNeely. Evan McNeely, he actually he took 9th at Providence. He just came back.
Very respectable.
Yeah, he was just in the China. He just was out in the China CX not too long ago. He had a chance to get over there and train, do some racing. Had a good time over there. It's great to see him out. And Peter, wait a minute. It looks like McDonald's starting to accelerate. He came up and over the barricades, and he's picking up the tempo now. You can't write him out.
6th place.
He's back there, and he's definitely reeling up that chase group. Remember that chase group, Evan McNeely, I believe a couple of the racers, I believe it was Andrew Watson, a group of, again, four riders respectively in that. We're going to call that the second and third chase group. But again, McDonald picking up the tempo, folks. You can't see this. Coming up the Ellison Alpe d'Huez, McDonald getting on the pedals, starting to get a little bit more angry. He's about a turn and a half away. You get the lead, that second and third place group respectively, getting to the top. Again, Evan McNeely, Norco Factory team rider, getting up to the top. Obviously, it seriously seems like at this point, Raphael Gagne way out there in first. As I said, it's just an unbelievable gap at this point. He's coming through the pit area smiling. He's got that Iron Man focus on, and he's just absolutely continues to tap the pace. And here we go, Peter, look at this. This is our second and third chase group.
3.
We got Evan McNeely. Evan McNeely, I mentioned to you before. Evan McNeely, he's a powerhouse. He's a U23 racer. And let's see who's in chase, digging deep. That's racer 29, Peter. That is, it's Cameron Dodge racing for Scott
Evan
Bikes.
McNeely, Cameron Dodge. Who do we got behind?
Yeah, Cameron Dodge, he's in a top 10 in the Nittany Lions CX, top 5 in the Charm City, first place in the Whirly Bird.
And they're pulling away from the other two.
Yeah, they are.
Evan
Notice that.
McNeely and Cameron Dodge.
McNeely's getting serious. And notice McNeely, watch, he's certainly starting to pick it up. But look at this. Check it out. We got Cameron Dodge. He's digging deep. And remember, Anthony Clark, he got third yesterday.
Anthony Clark and Mike Garrigan.
And these guys, they're getting hungry.
They're close. They don't want to lose that, but they're getting gapped a little bit.
Absolutely not. It's coming through this.
And McDonald is losing ground on all of them.
Well, I tell you what, he's losing ground. That may be relative, but he still has them in their sights. I mean, for a while there, we were seeing kind of, that very shallow look in on his face. He wasn't really concentrating on the pedals. It wasn't a very big effort on the tempo. He certainly picked it up. Look at that, Gagne riding it again.
Wow, he made that hill look very easy.
Again, just to show you the mountain bike roots. Folks, I don't know if you can hear, but the crowd back there is just absolutely going bonkers when they saw Gagne roll through there. Check him out with the bunny hop. Again, clearly can see the mountain bike skills come through once again.
Wow, he's going faster now than he did the first few laps.
And again, we're showing the chutes and ladders section of the course. I believe this should be the second and third group, chase group respectively, as we see, again, the Canadian racer from Norco Factory Team, Evan McNeely, was leading it out. I saw in chase, I believe it was number 29 there, Cameron Dodge of Scott Bikes also. And there were a few other racers. Get the confirmation.
Robert Marion.
Nice. American Classic. There you go, Anthony Clark digging deep. Look at the look on his face,
quite a
man.
bit different
Power.
than Gagne rolling up that hill. Yeah.
Coming across the line. I got to figure, coming up that hill, you're gassed. And they jumping on the bike, and they're accelerating. I mean, that's got to be tough digging deep every time, especially that second. There's McDonald. He's coming around. Hopefully he can kind of reel it back in again.
He fell back, but I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for him to at least catch this group,
Oh, absolutely.
It looks like it's something mental's going on there. I don't know. I'm sure he's hurting. I'm sure his lungs are hurting. His legs are hurting.
Sure.
But, he can dig. He can dig.
Yeah, that's definitely, that's definitely cyclocross for sure. It's a lot of suffering. And this 60-minute effort, boy, there's a lot of pain and suffering getting dished out here by Ellison Park. Thank you again, Full Moon Vista. This race will be, cached, so you can kind of go back and review it. EllisonParkCyclocross.com. For those of you out there, make sure you let all your friends and fellow social media connects know that that's going to be out there.
Got a lot of spectators enjoying some Rohrbox beer.
Good crowd out. Good crowd out here in Rochester, New York.
Joe Bean coffee and Good Smoke barbecue.
Yeah, Peter, we got the Bell Lap. Gagne out way in front, folks. The 2013 UCI Full Moon Vista Cyclocross, Ellison Park, Elite Men. The Rocky Mountain factory racer, Raphael Gagne of Canada. Mountain bike phenom, clearly strutting his stuff today in the cyclocross world. And
so do you predict he's going to win this race, Jonah?
I don't. I think, Peter, at this point, it's clearly not a prediction. I think at this point, he's getting ready to break out the bubbly, as they say, take the first place stand on the podium and break out that Rohrbox beer to celebrate. And one of our great sponsors you mentioned earlier.
And here's the chase group. All right, Jonah, who do we got in the chase group?
Well, Peter, I mentioned it before. It looked like we had Evan McNeely mixing it up. Again, that Norco Factory Team rider, certainly the UT3. He's right back out there. McNeely, I'm going to say McNeely's going to be the one to watch. But, again, I still see in chase, that is, again, Cameron Dodge.
Who's been doing most of the leading in that chase group? McNeely? He's been in the front, so interesting. He's looking the strongest.
He's looking the strongest. I was reading his blog earlier. He's feeling really good. I think if he holds strong, and he gets far enough out, we've been watching him really lead on both the climb of the Ellison Alpe d'Huez and the descent. He continues to really push the pace of that second and third place chase group, if you will. And it looks like McDonald kind of just really throwing in the towel at this point.
Getting caught by another rider.
Yeah, he just got, that is not where you want to be in a race, and it's a bummer.
Everybody has a bad day.
Yeah, it's racing. Boy, Zach McDonald was right up there in the game. A little bit of could be a bobble. Oh, wait, he's in the pits now, Peter. He's doing a bike change, and he's switching bikes. So I'm not quite sure what the reason behind that was, but again, it didn't look like
on the last lap, switching bikes. That's interesting.
Don't know, but again, back at it, Gagne.
But it has seemed to help him pick up some speed.
Gagne tapping it out there. Racer 11 digging deep, almost making it up. That was Nick Keogh. Keogh Cyclocross felt bicycle. Thank you to the Keoghs for coming out to support the 2013 UCI Ellison Park Cyclocross. It's a great view there, the pit areas. And there is Raphael Gagne. He is in a good position right now. Coming through the lower section of today's course. It's 7-minute laps. I clearly can think at this point, Gagne.
Wow, is it sunny out?
I don't know. It must be a good camera angle. And there you have it, Duran rolling through there. He's in part of that chase group that just went through the finish line area. A little bit of fight going on. There you go. There it is, McNeely. Peter, he's a powerhouse. I think he's still got plenty of gas in the tank. That's my call.
Who's that with McNeely?
Let's get a number. That's 29. That's Cameron Dodge. Cameron Dodge chasing McNeely of Norco Factory Team,
again,
Peter.
they have the gap here, and they're holding it this time.
Yeah, but look at McNeely.
On the last lap, you're going to give it everything you got.
Look at the focus on Cameron. Cameron's digging deep, and McNeely's just powering. I mean, notice how he comes in and out of these corners. Here he goes, look at, boom, on the gas. Look at that. Boom, look at that gap. Again, it's not like he's dropping him. But to your point earlier, think about how much harder Cameron's got to work to keep up with Evan McNeely. Again, they're coming along the back section. The lower
There's only a few places left to get ahead of a rider here. There's not too much left to the course. There's that climb. There's another little the section that we've been missing.
Yep, the chutes and ladders run up.
Chutes and ladders run up.
There he goes.
There's
Gagne. Gagne on the ride up, and again another ride up in his belt. He's just.
Yeah.
I think he's got it. I think he's got it dialed, as they say.
He's probably got one of those in his backyard. Climb just like it. He practices all the time.
Yeah, folks, bell lap. Raphael Gagne, Rocky Mountain Factory Racer out in front. 2013 UCI Full Moon Vista Cyclocross, Ellison Park in Rochester, New York. Jonah DiPasquale, Peter Pellicciati with you. Thank you so much for joining us. Big shout out to Full Moon Vista. There you go. Anthony Clark.
These guys are doing well.
Anthony Clark digging. But these guys, at this point, Peter, even Bell Lab, nobody's letting up. You see everybody's on the gas. There you go. Evan McNeely's cruising through there. That was Mike Garrigan, Van Dessel, and there's Anthony Clark cruising through there. Looking good.
So we know Gagne's going to win this race.
Here we go. We got the fans.
Who's going to be second, third, fourth, fifth?
No, Peter, notice that view on the lower part of chutes and ladders. Look at the folks. They're coming up towards the bottom. They want to see this finish. At this point, it's pretty obvious we know first place is going to be the Rocky Mountain Factory rider, Raphael Gagne, folks. There's McDonald. McDonald on the chutes and ladders run up. But again, at this point, Peter, we wanted to find out who is going to be the second and third racers, respectively.
Who's coming up the finishing stretch? They got to be coming around to the finishing stretch pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm hoping we can switch the camera feed in a second. McDonald through the back half of the course again. All right, here we go, Peter. The bell lap. Raphael Gagne, Rocky Mountain Factory rider.
You can see in the background the second, third, fourth, fifth place riders. So
there they are, and he's not even working at this point.
He's like, all right,
he knows he's got it in the bag.
Finally, take a break.
A little bit of fist pump, and you can hear the folks here in Rochester starting to clap their hands because they know this is going to be a gold medal effort for the Rocky Mountain Factory racer, Raphael Gagne. High-fiving the crowd through the line.
Wow.
There you go. There's the celebration. There's the goal. Congratulations to your 2000 UCI
all
Ellison
that
Cyclocross
training and hill repeats have paid off for Gagne.
Yeah, great job. And Raphael, as I said, it was amazing, Peter, to watch him come through.
And he is circling around. Wait, let's see who's coming into the finish. We got second place. And somebody's head in the way.
Yeah, right. Oh, look at that.
29.
It's Cameron Dodge.
Cameron Dodge.
And Cameron Dodge.
Pulled ahead of McNeely.
Yeah,
You got a gap on him.
I find that really hard to believe. He must have got him on that road section. It absolutely was
Here
Cameron
comes
Dodge.
McNeely.
And there's Evan McNeely.
Wow,
I can't
just
believe
suffering.
that. Man, there's Duran running up chutes and ladders. Man, that is wow. I thought for sure that McNeely was not going to let up. But again, the Scott Bakes racer Cameron Dodge in second. And there goes Anthony Clark. I'm not quite sure what he rolled in through the line. There's number 5, also Mike Garrigan, the Van Dessel racer. Boy, those are certainly no strangers to the CX world for sure. Definitely some of the best, and it's always a pleasure to be out here, especially witnessing this UCI crowd. There you go. That's Travis Liverson, Team Smart Stop.
And I'm seeing McDonald is coming through to the finish also. He had a hard day today,
Yeah,
but
absolutely. That's racing.
But here he comes right through.
Yeah, he's
yes,
got the wheelie.
give us a wheelie.
Nice. Yeah. Hey, and like you said, Peter, that's racing. You got to say hats off to McDonald. Phenomenal effort yesterday. Again, came out today, still gave it his all.
At that point, he might have wanted to just throw the towel in, but he didn't. He finished it out.
No, absolutely.
He got a new bike. He didn't like what he was riding. He got a new bike. He's like, I'm going to do what I can in this race. And what is he, top 10 still?
Yeah.
Still top 10.
And that's an interesting point. I mean, to make a bike change the last lap, I mean, clearly the course wasn't that muddy. I don't know whether or not it was for a photo op or whatever the case was, but, definitely, the way this course was playing out, we did see quite a bit of bike changes going through the pit. Sort of like that's kind of, we jokingly say, where the NASCAR mentality comes in. I know, Peter, clearly wheels are always an option. Tires are always an option.
Well, we're going to find out what some of these bike changes are all about.
Yeah, absolutely.
With a relatively dry course today, you just don't see that many mechanicals. But
yeah, absolutely.
Could have been a lot of collisions in the beginning.
A little bit.
You get a 40, 50 riders together, and they're vying for those lead positions. You see a lot of collisions, and derailleurs get knocked off. Tubular tires roll off. I've seen tubular tires knocked off by riders behind them. I don't know if that's because they hit them so hard or it just was a poor glue job, but these things happen.
I tell you, it sure does. I want to thank our title sponsor and production company, Full Moon Vista Bike and Sport, Rochester's premier cycling shop, specializing in professional fitting, sales, and repairs, featuring Trek bikes, which is, of course, one of our sponsors. Trek began in 1976 with a simple mission: build the best bikes in the world. Trek's motto: we believe in bikes. Thank you to Rohrbach Brewing, Rochester, New York's original restaurant and microbrewery. Absolutely the best handcrafted ales and lagers you'll ever try. Of course, thank you, Monroe County Sports Commission. This organization helps bring amazing events to Monroe County, such as the Ellison Park Cyclocross, GVCC Cycling Club, Greater Rochester, New York Premier Race Club, Monroe County Parks, Maggie Brooks, County Executive, Larry Staub, Director of Parks, and of course, the delicious eats from our folks. Where are they from, Peter?
Good Smoke Barbecue, Jonah.
Oh, yeah.
And I had some good smoked barbecue after my race, and let me tell you, that turns into pure muscle, dude.
Pure muscle. Well,
you race a race like today, you get some of that good smoked barbecue, and you're going to be twice as fast next weekend.
Well, I tried the pork yesterday, which was good, and then today I tried the chicken. I think it was a little torn. I think I like the pork better.
It's all pork for me, buddy.
All pork. And again, in terms of caffeine, thank you, Joe Bean Coffee Roasters, fine artisan coffees. You can find those guys right off of University Avenue. The folks at A-Bus Locks, made in Germany, the absolute best locks on the planet, Peter. How about that?
I'm going to have to get me an A-Bus lock next time I take my bike downtown.
Yeah. And I want to thank Ryan from Velo Neutral Race Support. He started this in 2013 right here in Rochester. New York professional race support at its finest. And, of course, Peter, a big thanks to yourself, Pete's Wheels. Check him out at peteswheels.com. Find him on Facebook and Twitter.
Absolutely. I would be happy to hear from you. Thanks, Jonah.
Yeah, folks, we're going to take a brief mic break. We're going to get on a handheld unit and move over to the podium to see the Men's Elite Awards. Thank you for joining us for the 2013 UCI Full Moon Vista Ellison Park Cyclocross.
See you, Mike.